Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another edition of Before I Go Wrong. And in this edition of Before I Go Wrong, I'll be doing Before I Go Wrong, Andrade versus Blanchfield. So let's run through this card real quick and see my initial picks. Maybe they'll change, maybe they won't, but I'll give you my thoughts and you feel free to interact in the comment section below and say like, yeah, you're wrong here, you're right there, or I like that, I like this, I like that, I don't feel this, I don't feel that. Leave your opinions in the comment section below. I'll interact with you, we'll comment, we'll respond and such, and start a dialogue. Also, you guys still want to join the Discord, drop a comment section, drop a comment below and I'll link the Discord so you can join that and we can really start some discussions up in there. Get that back jumping, is all I can say. So, yeah. So first fight we have in the featherweight division, Jamal Emmers versus Kusin Ashkabov. And I got to go Kusin Ashkabov is it right now. But ultimately, this nigga going to be no high, super high confident pick. Probably like a low confident pick, to be honest. Maybe my lowest confident on the card is it right now. I know people get like, oh, he's Russian, he's undefeated and this, that. But I'm not super impressed with him. I feel like he maybe a little bit overconfident striking, overconfident grappling. I see a lot of times he'll make sloppy mistakes and just be able to just roll through with it. But at a higher level, you make the mistake, you pull someone, you try to do a toss someone, you end up on bottom. You can't just always roll through with everybody. The low level scrubs you can fight in, you can get away with that. But at a higher level, you get exploited. And Jamal Emmers ain't the best of the best. But he's definitely a well-rounded guy who has 100% takedown defensive ratio, which is very important. So far, like, he's the cleaner, more technical striker. But my thing with him is, like, he has been inactive. Kusin Ashkabov has been active. He is undefeated. He has that undefeated mindset. And what improvements will he make coming into this fight? You got Emmers. Can you really expect him to make improvements? We don't know. And also, like, Emmers have ever been super consistent inside the UFC. He's coming off a loss. I think he only got like one win. He like 1-4 or 1-3 in the UFC. So Ashkabov likely going to win. But if I just look at him skill for skill, Emmers definitely got a very good shot to win this one. But like the inactivity and the lack of success, that's like really was more so than talent and accolades of Ashkabov was making me lean to Ashkabov than Ashkabov himself. So now to our next fight we have in the welterweight division, AJ Fletcher versus Thema Gorimbo. And this one right here is flat out, I feel like Thema Gorimbo, he got, I don't know, I can't even say he got power. His power don't look nothing notable. A little bit explosive, but not no real notable power. Very sloppy, bit chinny as well. This don't like the most polished fighter. It looks very raw and green. This don't like the most talented technical fighter. He'll like a very technical fighter, like a raw, very raw fighter. AJ Fletcher, also his takedown offense isn't great. Chin isn't great. I feel like Fletcher can outstrike him, to be honest. Probably don't want to do that too much. Gorimbo's takedown offense isn't the best. I feel like Fletcher, really the best thing for Fletcher to do is probably maybe gain respect with some power and then take him down. But I definitely could see Fletcher getting him out in this, maybe crack him on the chin and then just smothering and ground and pounding him out, maybe in the first or second. But right now I go AJ Fletcher. Like Gorimbo really just a wild card, to be honest. This judging based off his skills and talent and accolades, his best chance to win is just a wild card. Maybe catch him something wild in exchange and knock him out or something. Or I don't know, make this to a dog fight and somehow win that. But other than that, I really don't see very limited that many. I see very few paths to victory for Gorimbo. Very, very few, very limited. And even the paths that are there, you can't really even really get behind them. Yeah, next one we have in the light heavyweight division, Ovis St. Preux versus Felipe Lins. And I already said this one before. Maybe my confidence dropping a little bit for Felipe Lins, but I have already predicted this fight. I still got Felipe Lins to win. OSP has not been looking all that amazing. Got a split decision over Shogun. And, Shogun just retired. Like Shogun has been the same for like over a decade or something like now. And OSP, beat him dominantly some years ago. And now, well, he definitively some years ago. The fight didn't really get to play out. Yeah, he defeated him definitively some years ago. But then he fought a rematch and it was a close split decision. So I can't really get behind him in this one. I really can't get behind him in this one at all. And I feel like Felipe Lins ain't the most amazing fighter either, but he does not have the same amount of mileage and damage that OSP has on him. So I feel like Felipe Lins should win this one, maybe even in distance. OSP, like I said, OSP has declined so much. Got to go with Felipe Lins. But again, confidence might not be as high as it used to be about this matchup, but still, I feel like I can't really lean anywhere else but Felipe Lins, unless maybe I'll drop OSP to like a plus 8,000, something like that. Oh, he's a valid in that point, but there's value. But hey, what is value when he don't cash? Like, It could be plus 1 million. If you lose, you lose, and you lose. But yeah, unless something saying I ain't putting $0 on OSP, and I gotta go Felipe Lins there. Next fight we have in the women's bantamweight division, Lena Landsberg versus Myra Bueno Silva. And Landsberg has been getting some little crafty drops on these opponents of hers. She's been putting on a fight. She's been losing, but in her last two fights, she definitely hurt both of her opponents. So she's very much game, but I can't lean anywhere else but Myra Bueno Silva. I feel like Silva's strike come along. She's definitely the better grappler. And we have seen Landsberg take it down in control. I feel like this is a fight where Bueno Silva could put the stamp on her, take her down, and submit her. And Carol Rosa, like when she was having issues on her feet, she just turned it into a grappling matchup and just controlled her relatively easily. So I feel like Bueno Silva can control her and can put the stamp on her. And in this fight, this is one of those fights where I can't lean anywhere else but Myra Bueno Silva. I can't lean nowhere else but Myra Bueno Silva, a 40-year-old woman MMA fighter versus a fighter roughly in her prime that's more well-rounded than her, more talented than her. Can't lean anywhere else but Myra Bueno Silva. Free money right there, I feel. Landsberg ain't gonna make it look like free money, but as far as possibilities, nothing but free money in that fight. So into the next one, we have in the men's flyweight division, we have Juan Camilo Ronderos versus Clayton Carpenter. In this one, I feel like there's some more free money. Clayton Carpenter should be able to take him down, submit him. He got submitted by a guy who's not the most notable grappler, and Clayton Carpenter has, some submission grappling wins over some solid grapplers, some solid wrestlers, some solid talents. And I think this is going to be a performance where Clayton Carpenter is going to show, why he does have some of the hype he does have behind him, or some of the tension he does have behind him, and why he's in the UFC. Like, he's going to go out there, be able to dominate him in the grappling department, and be able to get him out of there definitively, most likely submission. Next fight we have in the lightweight division, Nazim Sadikov versus Evan Elder. And when I look at Evan Elder, I just see a guy that he got pretty much all the skills, but that's about it. He has the starter pack, but hasn't filled it in. I feel like Nazim Sadikov is the better striker, the better grappler, the better overall fighter. They have the same exact record, but the numbers ain't the numbers are the same, but what's the stats and what's deeper in there is not the same. Both 7-1, but his 7-1 is much different. I feel like Sadikov should be able to pick him apart on the feet, pick him apart on the ground. I think he should be able to get him out of there in the distance, probably like a submission, like second round. But that's not my final prediction. But definitely, I don't feel like, matter of fact, it's not switching from Sadikov. It's not switching out for Sadikov. That's probably one of my most confident picks on this card. It ain't changing. Next fight we have, and also, again, to note, this is not my final picks. Things might change. I'll have first round, had this, had that. But my final predictions are really, in all honesty, the fighters I'll pick will be in my quick picks. Those ain't changing. If it's in the quick pick, unless I decide to make a revision, and I will let you know it's a revision. But the quick picks, that's finale as far as the pick. But I feel like there are some adjustments in my final UFC fight prediction videos, the full long videos with the pictures. That's like my true final picks. Like my final pick as far as people, like the fighters to win, are in the quick picks. But I think the final methods and everything, that's all cleared up in the full card fight prediction. But I'm going to adjust and make the quick picks in those the same, because it does be shifting. Like, I might say second and be third in the final prediction thing. But again, mostly method. Matter of fact, the method in the fighter chain is more so, the only thing difference is maybe the round. That's the only thing that's different. The round might change, but the method in the fighter in the quick pick is the same as that's going to be in the full card fight prediction video. But yeah, that's just some extra little fun facts for you. Next fight we have Jim Miller versus Alexander Hernandez in the lightweight division. And I got to go Alexander Hernandez. I feel like he has the wrestling defense to stuff Jim Miller. He also could take Jim Miller down. I feel like he's solid enough in the grappling department to deal with Jim Miller's grappling, especially having that size and strength advantage and youth advantage over Jim Miller. So I feel like he can address Jim Miller's grappling. It's just a second not getting caught with nothing. But even there, I just feel like Alexander Hernandez is too big, young, and strong, and should be able to bully the older Jim Miller out there and likely get him out in distance. Maybe like a first round, second round TKO. And people say, they wait on Hernandez to fatigue, but Jim Miller, while I look at a lot of his fights, when it's actually competitive, I feel like he has been fading late, early. I mean, last 4 years, he's been fading after the first round. I mean, in the past, he could go rounds, but I feel like now he don't seem to have that steam after the first round. So I feel like Hernandez at one point was a workman type fighter who can go rounds, even though it seemed like his tendency now is kind of dropping. But again, different styles, different fights. And I think in this fight, Hernandez should be the younger fighter who should be able to push that pace and break the older fighter in Miller. And I feel like he can neutralize his Miller BJJ. And I think on feet, he could just impose his size and will upon the smaller, older Miller. So In that one, I got Alexander Hernandez for now, unless I see something else pop up. Next fight we have in the heavyweight division, Josh Parisian versus Jamal Pogues. And how I see him right here is I'm going with Pogues. My big concern is maybe if Parisian somehow falls on top of Pogues, maybe he can end up just getting laid on for a round or something potentially. I don't really even see Parisian being capable of that. Well, probably first round possibly, but outside that, Parisian has a very terrible gas tank, so I can't see him really imposing any great strategy on anyone for multiple rounds. And I don't feel like Pogues necessarily that guy that's going to just get laid on. I feel like Parisian has that wrestling ability to that level where he had such great success wrestling Pogues. Then I feel like Pogues is just a faster, more fluid fighter. I think the most important thing is that Pogues, I feel he can go rounds. Where I feel like Parisian, he literally just gasp for air like he needed an inhaler after one round or 3 minutes. And I feel like Pose can just outwork him. Maybe put him away. But I'm gonna say Pose is a smaller heavyweight. I feel like when he fight like middleweight or welterweight at one point, he just put a bunch of fat on him. But nonetheless, I feel like Pose can outwork him. This really the first round maybe gonna be the biggest indicator, but as long as he can win that round or at least make it close and get out of that first round, I feel like Pose should be his fight to outwork Parisian all day. And probably even start to get his own takedowns on a tired Parisian. Maybe even look to work for a submission over Parisian. But I'm going to go Pogues as of right now. Method still pending, but got to go Pogues as of right now. Next fight we have in the light heavyweight division, William Knight versus Marcin Prachnio. Got to go William Knight here as of right now. Prachnio has been looking low-key pretty good, not pretty good. He's been looking better. Been looking all right in the last couple fights. I remember at one point he was just walking with his hands down, getting knocked out by everybody, getting folded up by everybody. Now suddenly he started to develop a brain and start to better defend himself, mixing his kicks better, mixing his footwork a little bit better. So that can make this fight better, like make that fight more interesting. Make this fight more interesting. That's what I'm trying to say. Make this fight more interesting. But yeah, it's a tight match. You really trust either one of these guys? I think William Knight being a dog right now is good. And even without the dog and stat wise, I would lean William Knight here. I think Prachnio still kind of got defensive flaws. I feel like William Knight got big power. And I feel like it should be the fine Prachnio probably for some takedowns. Just make it an ugly fight, but be able to find that chin and turn his lights out. So I think at some point William Knight will be able to connect with some power and turn Prachnio's lights out. Maybe like first or second round. Probably first. But yeah, as of right now, I got William Knight until I see more. I'm looking more into that one. But that's definitely one that could shift. That definitely could shift to Prachnio, especially with Prachnio defending himself better now and developing a brain. So a developed brain, Prachnio could definitely win that one against William Knight. He is the more technical striker and overall the more technical fighter. William Knight is just like a bodybuilder with some MMA training. That's what he fight like. But that power is real. And Prachnio, chin is very chinny. He does hang it out there. So that's all it takes, one big shot. William Knight is very awkward. Prachnio's awkward. Two awkward guys. Awkward things happen. But he let that big bodybuilder arm on your chin. Put that big bodybuilder fist on your chin. Could be all she wrote for the skinny chin Prachnio. Oh yeah, now to our next fight. We have in the light heavyweight division, Zach Pogba versus Jordan Wright. And with this one, it's more so just riding off Jordan Wright's consistency. He has been consistently losing. Zach Pogba look okay at heavyweight. He can be chinny. It's like not a fight you can feel confident about. I would say low confidence, Zach Pogba. And it's really riding off the momentum of Jordan Wright not being able to consistently win fights. And I think his only win in the UFC is probably one of the guys that, well, he has two wins over guys that really are either cut or should be cut. One guy I think is cut. The other guy is about to be cut. Other than that, he's been consistently losing. And I feel like Zach Pogba dropping down to a more natural weight class for him. Hopefully put in adjustments. And, I think even he said he's going to make those adjustments coming off that fight. He was really winning that fight, but he didn't take it. He ain't complain. He ain't make no excuses. He's going to get better. I like that mindset. And I hope when he comes with the tools, comes in more composed, and comes in better. If he comes in better, already a tight matchup without him coming in focused, and show some new wrinkles, more than enough confidence for me to lean to Zach Pogba. Probably low confidence, but I'm going to lean Zach Pogba. And I feel like I'm not going to shift that because, again, I can't trust Jordan Wright. I can trust Jordan Wright to lose, but I can't trust that man to win. So, got to go Zach Pogba as of right now, and I don't think that one's changing. Method pending, but I think Jordan Wright when he typically loses by knockout. So, going to look at that more. Also, got looking, is Pogba really a finisher like that? Got to look more into that. So, all these things will factor. But Zach Pogba is a right now, but definitely one of these picks that can change. The William Knight and Pogba fights, back-to-back fights that I feel could change. I think the other ones pretty much set in stone for the most part. Yeah, pretty much set in stone. I'm looking at these other fights in the past. And then Jessica Andrade versus Erin Blanchfield in the main event for the flyweight, women's flyweight bout: Jessica Andrade versus Erin Blanchfield. How I feel about this one? I gotta go Andrade. I feel like Blanchfield, she has her moments when she looks good. She looks good when she's probably dealing with a smaller woman or she's dealing with a grappler. She does well against grapplers. She does well against smaller woman that she can grapple up. Jessica Andrade isn't the biggest, but she's a decent size for flyweight and strawweight. She's not super towered over. And I think she's physically stronger than Blanchfield. And I think she might not be as technical of a grappler as Blanchfield, but I think she can more than hold her own with Blanchfield and grappling. On the feet, Blanchfield hasn't really shown super amazing striker. Yeah, she looked good against Miranda Maverick, who striking has always been horrendous to me. And I think everybody's starting to realize how horrendous Miranda Maverick striking is. So, and then against what's the fight? I'm forgetting that chick name. I'm not even gonna Google it, but I know exactly who she is. Little girl who likes you off Game of Thrones looking so. Little ginger looking self, whatever her name is. But she's a striker with no decent takedown offense. We saw Blanchfield struggle. Same we saw Macy Barber struggle against her in the past. Then she caught like similar, parallels. Macy Barber for her some years ago was losing the fight. Then she landed a big shot and TKO'd her. Blanchfield, I think was it a TKO? Did she drop her or either way, losing the fight, then she was able to get a grappling situation, then she's tapped her out. So she's got kind of the same boat as Macy Barber in somewhat, some parallels there. But nonetheless, I don't feel like Blanchfield has the striking to cause Andrade issues. I feel like Andrade can cause her issues in the grappling. Andrade can cause her issue in the wrestling. I feel like Andrade can cause her issues on the striking, cause issues with her power. Whereas Blanchfield, I don't know what she's really expecting. Maybe she's expecting she could come in there, take her down, and submit her or something. Or maybe she'll make some adjustments. But as of right now, I don't think Andrade is losing to anyone that's not like Weili Zhang or Valentina. I feel like she could even beat Namajunas because Namajunas barely won that rematch. Barely won. Barely skated by. I was about to get stopped through those 5 rounds yet again. But the fact that 3 rounds allowed her to skate by on the hair of her chinny chin chin. So really, only people I see beating her, maybe Taya Santos, maybe. But definitely for sure Weili Zhang and Valentina. But the person who definitely I feel will guarantee probably beat her is Valentina. Valentina for sure beating her. Weili Zhang rematch play out a little bit more. Well, I don't know. Weili Zhang just showed some more improvement. So I'm gonna say Weili Zhang confidence and Weili Zhang beating her again is about as high as it's been because she looked so good in her last fight. So Weili Zhang, yeah, for sure beating her, I feel, and Valentina. But Namajunas, I'm probably leaning more on Andrade to beat Namajunas. So it really ain't nobody really beating Andrade right now. She a little tank, and she's gonna make Blanchfield very uncomfortable, put in a position she's never been to. Whereas Blanchfield can't really show Andrade she can't show Andrade anything she hasn't been there. She's been in with the very best in these women's weight classes that had to offer. Blanchfield is still very green. And I know people, the odds look very close because who she beat? She beat Molly McCann. Molly McCann is not nowhere near Andrade's level. If Andrade fought Molly McCann, she would make her retire. She would literally make her retire. Like, reevaluate her life decisions, reevaluate everything she has to evaluate about her life and who she is. And that's how bad she was. But yeah, this is a big, big step up for Blanchfield. She went from fighting Molly McCann to fighting Jessica Andrade. It's like a huge difference. You're from fighting a woman who probably won't ever fight for a title to fighting a woman who had one title and had fought literally every champion that she could fight are available to her between those 2 weight classes. So, and even had success at 135. So, it's a big levels game. This is a big jump for Blanchfield. I don't think this will be a test she'll pass. Is it right now? I think Andrade can likely get her out of there in the distance. And Andrade can go 5 rounds mauling her. Like, it might seem like, oh, Andrade's going this. For being a little tiny tank like she is, you would probably expect, oh, she has a weak gas tank. But nah, that chick can go for 5 rounds mauling you. Her pace can maintain a decent pace. She can go there for 5 rounds. Heavy power, heavy pressure, female John Lineker, and give you some lumps for 5 rounds if needed. If you don't want to tap out or turn your head and let the ref pull her off you, or curl up into a fetal position and let the ref pull you off. She will beat you as long as she needs to beat you. And that last fight as well shows she can do that. Like Lauren Murphy, she beat Lauren Murphy for like 3 rounds, landed like 300 significant strikes on her. So she can throw some hands and she can throw as many as you want to take. So I don't see the path for Blanchfield to weigh her out and then tap her out or something. I don't see the weight for Blanchfield to be more tactical to her. I don't see that. But hey, if she can create a grappling situation, maybe it could show something. But I ain't been super, super impressed with Blanchfield's grappling to begin with anyway. It's solid for sure. But as far as at the level, oh, she can cause Valentina issues. She could cause Weili Zhang issues. Well, she's not going to fight Weili Zhang, but Weili Zhang might come up. But I don't see that at a level where she would call those people. She might cause Rose Namajunas some issues, potentially. But I think Namajunas' striking way ahead of her. It's not like Blanchfield's an amazing wrestler. So Blanchfield ain't even an amazing wrestler to begin with. And her takedown, I don't feel like she probably scored like 1 or 2 takedowns in the UFC. So her takedown offense ain't notable. ain't really credible. So yeah, her path victory look very limited. Whereas Andrade, like they're all open on the table. Blanchfield, like really, you really gotta think about like, can she do that? Can she do that? You gotta really gotta evaluate with Andrade. Like, I know what Andrade does, and she can do all of that to Blanchfield potentially. Maybe outside of submission, but you get hit by Andrade, you're gonna forget like about your jujitsu. So the submission's definitely open. Like she in with those bungalows, you're like, hey, I'd rather get tapped out. So you might say, oh, I'm a 9-degree red belt, black belt. Because I can't about shot like, I feel like a white belt today. I'm gonna be a white belt today. So like I said, that's open. But definitely knocking her out, definitely mauling her for 5 rounds. Definitely something within Andrade's wheelhouse, and she could definitely do to just about anyone else outside the very best. With again, Weili Zhang and Valentina Shevchenko. So yeah, I talked about that one a little bit longer than I should have, but hey, it is what it is. Is it right now? I got Jessica Andrade. That's likely a pick. That's not changing. Maybe the short. Matter of fact, she's always there. I never seen Andrade coming on short notice and be like, "Damn, she don't look like herself." So she came on short notice. She always looked like she's ready for war. I feel like she's always training, at least always ready to bang. I never seen a Andrade that didn't look, typical Andrade outside of Weili Zhang fight. That just look weird. But outside of that, she looked like herself. And Valentina Shevchenko just outclassed her. But again, levels to this game. I don't think Blanchfield's on that level or has faced anyone on this level to prove to be on that level. And yeah, so that concludes the video on where I went wrong. Well, not where I went wrong. This is before I go wrong. And yeah, if you want to leave your opinions on anything and maybe help me to a better prediction or maybe give me some more scope on something, drop in the comments below. Or you just want to say welcome back, or you want to say, hey, thanks for the video, or you want to say, oh, this video trash, whatever you want to say, whatever's on your mind, don't keep it in your mind. Put it in the comments below. Let's start a dialogue. Let's run those comments up. And that's the video. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe, and come back for more videos. Peace.